Welcome back to another Keep Blown Sell. I'm here with Turkish. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Try to keep some players, yeah? Aaron Ramsdale.
Keep, easy choice. He's helped elevate us in the last 2 years. And, you know, it was unexpected when he came in. I had major doubts about him, having been relegated a few times, but he's been a big integral part of what Arteta's creating at Arsenal.
All right, Matt Turner.
Keep. You know, I think a backup keeper should be used in the League Cup and only the League Cup, and keeper injuries tend to be few and far between. So for me, there's doubts about him playing out of the back, but I don't expect to see him much. I want Ramsdale starting in the league, I want Ramsdale starting in the Champions League, and I want Ramsdale starting in the FA Cup. So Turner, keep.
Kieran Tierney.
Keep, man, that's my guy. Ideally, you keep him, especially when you hear the links to the inverted right backs now, Cancelo, Fresneda. I feel like Tierney being there would give us the option to invert from the right hand side and have Tierney slot into a back three, rather than asking Tierney to do what Zinchenko does, which he does look like a fish out of water. You know, it is what it is. I don't think he can do what Zinchenko does. I don't think Zinchenko can do what Tierney does. But for me, Tierney going into the Champions League is a big option to have on the bench or as a rotation option.
All right, Ben White.
Keep, similar to Ramsdale. A lot of doubts when he first came in, especially when you look at the price tag as well, 50 mil. I was just asking myself why. But 2 years on, I can see why. Not only did he do well in his first season at centre back, but I think he's kicked on and been even better in the right back position. And next season, he's going to be integral for us, whether that is to back Saliba up and we get another right back in, or whether that's, you know, being the leading right back in the Arsenal side. Keep.
Gabriel.
Keep. Another player that's slowly but surely progressing well. Early on in the season, made a couple mistakes, but ironed them out. I think post World Cup, he was as good, if not better, than Saliba. But without Saliba, some of his, what do you call it? Some of his frailties, I guess, were more open to the light. But he's a top defender. One of two options for left centre back of the season, in my opinion. So yeah, keep.
William Saliba.
That's my guy as well, William Saliba. Just as important to me and, in my opinion, to Arsenal as Saka is, as Martinelli is, as Odegaard is. First season, comes in young in the Premier League, the toughest league in the world, the most physical, hits the ground running. And
we knew that out on tour when we saw him in Orlando. You watched him 5 minutes, you knew.
He's got everything needed to be a world-class centre-back for many years to come. So it's keep all day long. Give him 200, give him 250, I don't really care.
Jakub Kiwior.
I haven't seen much of him. I'm going to say keep. I've liked what I saw so far, aside from that Sporting Lisbon moment. I still don't know what happened in that moment, whether there was a call from Turner or whether it was just simply Kiwior not being up for that. And obviously, towards the end of the season, he gets stamped on, he goes down. A defender should never be doing that. You should wait for your line to be cleared before you even entertain an injury. That's the football I grew up on. You know, they'd get tackled, they'd get hit, but they get the job done. So I think he needs to learn that side, but technically he looks good. And I'm happy for him to back up Gabriel, so I'll keep.
Rob Holding.
That's not my guy. For me, Rob Holding, he shouldn't be at the club. And I know people are going to say that's harsh, but I think that's a player we should have moved on from previously. Now, one thing I give Arteta is he had to move on from a hell of a lot of players, and he's stuck with a few. One or two have proven him right in that sense. One or two, including Rob Holding, have not necessarily done that. When called upon this season, when called upon the season before, and when called upon more or less every season under Wenger, he just isn't it. Especially for where we're going with the style of football, with Arteta's philosophy. I really don't want to see Holding. I don't want to see Saliba injured next season, but in case he is injured or misses a couple games, I do not want to see Rob Holding coming in for him. So now is the time to say goodbye.
Takahiro Tomiyasu.
Keep. I think it's a big season for him because, similar to Tierney and Partey in their first 2 years, the injury problems are a concern. So Tomiyasu's injury problems are a concern. But when he plays, I love him. I mean, aerially, he's probably the best defender we have.
Yeah.
He can play right back, he can play centre back. So for all those reasons, I'm willing to give it another season. And I do think that last injury he got was quite unfortunate, the way he kind of fell and jarred, what was it, his knee or,
Yeah, I think it was his knee,
something
yeah.
along those lines. So unfortunate, but it's a big season for him. Keep.
Zinchenko.
Keep. I mean, he's also been part of this new gen Arsenal, a big part of it as well this season. I think he's shown me and shown a lot of Arsenal fans what modern day football is about, inverting from that full-back position. Defensively, big concerns, especially towards the end of the season. But I think overall, for what he's brought, the pros far outweigh the cons. So yeah, keep.
Thomas Partey.
Keep. Really disappointed with Partey towards the end of the season. I do think there was an injury there. I look at the goals conceded against Manchester City, and a couple of those, I'm looking at Partey run back, and I can't even call it run back because it was closer to a walk than a run. And that is not Thomas Partey. Throughout the season, he's been a big part. If we had won the Premier League, he would have been one of the standout performers. It's just that towards the end, when I looked at the more experienced players, yeah, he just didn't do it for us. But it's keep. I know there's a lot of fans entertaining, potentially selling him, but no, Partey is the 1-6 that I'd want to keep.
Bukayo Saka.
Keep. New contract. One of the star boys. I'm not going to say the star boy because we've got a few, Martinelli and Saliba being a couple others, but he is the face. He is the Hale End Academy product. Very good season. What did he end with? 14 goals, 11 assists?
And that's just in the league, I think.
Just in the league, yeah. Well, was we in other competition this year?
I think he scored in the Europa League once.
Well, was we in other competition?
not really.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, yeah. But Saka he's cold. And I want to see him at Arsenal for the rest of his career, and hopefully he kicks on even more. And he's set the standard now for himself, and I think this is the standard he will keep moving forward.
Yep, Martin Odegaard.
Quality. One thing about Odegaard that was missing is the end product. We know he can create, we know he can assist players, but when needed, can he bang it in? And this season he's proven that. 15 goals from him, none of them being penalties. Quality captain as well, in my opinion. Yes, at times his leadership skills have been called into question, especially towards the end of the season. But he is young, and in my opinion, he's the best choice we've made for captain for a long time.
Fair enough. Emil Smith-Rowe.
I feel for him, man. Because if we had done this last summer, this would be an easy deal. I wouldn't have to say much. 10 goals in the Premier League. Not necessarily a bit part player, but a lot of those goals come off the bench. A lot of them came starting games as well. I'm definitely giving him another season. I don't want to see the back of Emil yet. I think he's got something to offer. Interesting news that he's being trained for the 8. Not too sure about that, but what I am more sure about is that Arteta knows what he's doing. So if that's what you want to do, then do it. Emil, part of the academy too. Hopefully he can, regain that 21-22 season form.
Jorginho.
Sell for me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna. Oh, how can you say? For me, I mean, I've never been a big fan of Jorginho throughout his time at Chelsea. I know he's won major honours, Euros and Champions League, and he is a good player.
Has he done well for us?
He's done okay. I think overhyped performances at times. I think he keeps things ticking. I think he's got a certain level of control and measure to his game. But I do look at our number 6 position, and there's a hell of a lot of experience there, not enough technical quality there. And I know Jorginho has got technical quality, but I don't think he's quick enough or mobile enough for me to be confident with him. And I think we got him for 12 mil. I think we could still get 10 mil for him. So ideally, I think it's time, we moved on from Jorginho. Well, it's only 6 months down the line, moved on from Jorginho. Good on him for trying to step into Partey's shoes when he did, and he did have a couple good performances, none great. But I think this is the summer now to kind of just flush out what we need to flush out, and I think Jorginho should be part of that.
I'm keeping Jorginho, by the way.
Of course you are.
Well, we finally get an Italian player. I'm allowed to have him. Fabio Vieira.
I like to give players coming in, especially from abroad, 18 months before I really give my opinion of them. If I'm judging the first season, not great.
No.
Good moments. Good moments. Maybe a great moment against Brentford when he banged it in. I think he scored the 3rd goal. Overall, that capped off probably his best performance, having started the game this season. But when called upon, when needed towards the end, Bournemouth, he starts, we go 2-0 down. It's not all on him. Southampton, he starts, we go 3-1 down. Again, it's not all on him, but I just think we need to see more. I think he has quality for sure. And I've taken into account that when we signed him, he was only really playing games at a high level for 6 months. So as we sit here and now ask, keep, sell, alone, it's been 18 months. Ask me again in January, come the end of next season, I'll be more definitive with my ideas of Vieira. But right now, I want to give him the next season, keep.
No, Nenny.
Sell. I mean, I know why the club gave the contract, a bit of loyalty there, and El Nene just sits on the bench, and when called upon, I'm not one of the fans that are completely on his back or against him. I know he doesn't have the necessary quality. I know he doesn't have the necessary skill set to move forward with us. So I get the contract because of the injury, but I just think, again, similar to Georgia, now's the time to flush out what we need to flush out and be a bit ruthless with some of our decisions. We've given him the contract, so he's here, but if it was up to me, it would be sell or end the contract, let go.
Granit Xhaka?
Initially, well, not even initially, I'd say keep as a rotation option, a backup to a new 8 coming in. But I think his decision seems to have been made, even though Arteta, seemed a bit clueless about it all, or acted a bit clueless about it all after the Wolves game. So I'd say keep, because I think he's been a big part of what we nearly done this season, and he could continue to be a big part of what we could potentially achieve moving forward. But I think we need to upgrade. So keep, but I'd have him on the bench.
Gabriel Jesus?
Keep. Keep. Not the most clinical, and that is a problem. I think we do need another clinical striker, not necessarily to replace Jesus, but to rotate with and add to. I think he can play multiple positions, and bringing in another profile of striker can open up that avenue for Mikel and for Jesus. But in terms of Jesus as a footballer, he's probably the best footballer we have. In terms of pure football skill set and enjoyment of the game, a lot of that tends to come from Brazil anyway, and Jesus kind of epitomizes that. So for me, unfortunate with the injury, still got 10 goals, or was it 11 goals at the end? I think it was 11.
Like that, yeah.
I think 11 goals, which is not
3 months out.
Which is not a bad output, but I'd expect him to at least be hitting 15 next season, and that's with another profile striker in.
Gabriel Martinelli?
Keep. That's my player of the season. One of the star boys, as mentioned before. I think he's very important to us. I think in terms of ceiling for Saka and Martinelli, I still think Martinelli's ceiling's a bit higher than Saka's. I think both ceilings are high, but Martinelli's just got that hunger in the final third where he wants to be putting it in the back of the net, and his game has improved with Jesus up top, with Trossard up top. So again, it's a great player to have at the age and the skill set, and it's a great option to have.
Eddie Nketiah?
Sell. I'm not going to and ah about it like Robbie did. For me, it's sell. I think I was surprised when the contract was given last season. 100k, number 14 shirt. I was upset about that. More so the number 14 shirt, because I think shirt numbers used to mean a lot more than they mean now, and I think it was the wrong decision. But we trust Mikel, or I trust Mikel a lot more now. I trusted him a lot more last season than I did the season before that. So that's slowly built up. I guess you can't do everything in 1 or 2 windows. That was similar to Holding, and I looked at Eddie as a player that Arteta's trying to get the best out of, or trying to turn around, having had to deal with so much outgoings in his initial 2 years at the club. But for me, that Jesus injury should have been the prime moment for Eddie. And I know a lot of people will say he done great coming in. He didn't do great. He hit the ground running, he scored 4 goals, but that was primed for Eddie. New contract, number 14 shirt. The star striker gets injured for 3 months. This is your time. You're 24 years of age. Now you come in, do your thing. So when Jesus comes back, there's question marks over whether he comes straight back in. However, by the time, end of January, I would have said, yeah, he's done well so far. But come end of February, Trossard was ahead of him, and we haven't seen him start a game since. Yeah. So for me, that also shows a lack of trust from Arteta. I already doubt the quality he has and the ceiling he has. If we can get 20, 25, time to go. So
Leandro Trossard?
Keep. I think that was a quality signing in January. I was upset with the Mudryk stuff. Not that I knew too much about Mudryk, but if the club's chasing a player and willing to spend up to 90 mil, then I looked at it as Arteta wants him. We didn't get him. We got Trossard, and I think Trossard's done very well having come in. He comes in ready for a game, starts up front, and then keeps that role until Jesus pretty much comes back in. 10 assists from January to the end of the season just for Arsenal. I think he only got a goal, but all in all, 11 goals and assists having come in January. I think he played his part. He tried. I maybe hope I would have saw him a bit more come the end of the season, but it is what it is. Keep.
Reece Nelson.
Reece is my guy as well. I like Reece. I've always wanted Reece to succeed at Arsenal. He's Arsenal through and through. He's always maintained that. He's always wanted to sign new contracts at the club. But at the same time, I don't feel like he's had the opportunities that an Eddie has had or other young players have had over the time. And even this season, the same can be said. We see him against Forest, comes on 2 goals. We see him against Bournemouth, comes on, he gets the goal. But how much minutes did he play overall in the season? Again, that indicates to me that Arteta doesn't fancy him much or doesn't think he is of an adequate level to trust in him. But then you see a 4-year contract being offered. So I'm a bit in the middle on what the situation is with Reece and Arteta's thoughts on him. Up to me, I'd give him a new contract and say keep, in the hope that he gets utilised more, and if not, we have some value there moving forward. But there's question marks.
Fair enough. Let's go to some of the loan players because I can predict some of the others. Cedric.
Yeah, time, man. It's time.
Fair enough. Nuno Tavares.
I think it's time for him as well. Not too sure what Arteta's thoughts are.
Sell or loan? Would you give him one more loan? Or
no, for me, it's more keep or sell than sell or loan.
Fine.
I think he's had a decent season. If we can get something for him, 15, 20 mil. What did we pay for him? 8 mil?
Yeah,
15, 20 mil. If we can potentially double our investment into him, I'll take it. But there is a player in there.
Yeah,
I mean, in moments you can get something from him. I think he's just too wild for these modern day managers. Modern day managers need reliability and to know that a player is going to give you exactly what you've instructed them to give you. I think Tavares isn't that player. So sell.
Austin Trusty.
It seems like he's had a great season. He's been at Birmingham, I believe. Earlier on in the season, the first half in particular, I was online looking at Birmingham fans' thoughts of him. I was looking at his ratings and they tended to be high, good thoughts about him. I assumed he was going to come in and be our left-sided centre-back cover because he is left-footed. So that's why I was kind of looking at him a bit more in the first half of the season. Then we signed Kivior. So I just think there's no place for him in the side. I want a right-sided centre-back to come in if it is to be a centre-back and not a right-back. So for me, Trusty, sell.
Lokonga.
Sell. I mean, what did I say about Vieira? I like to give 18, 24 months. We've given it 18, 24 months. In fact, we gave 18 and loaned him out at a time where we needed midfield reinforcement. So I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So for me, I haven't seen potential there. I haven't seen any... when people say I haven't seen much to say he's going to be a top player, I haven't seen anything to say he's going to be a top player. And by top player, I mean where we are now, trying to compete with Manchester City. So sell.
Nicolas Pepe.
Sell. Unfortunate. When he came in, I was so gassed, so excited about that signing. I thought we got a gem. And funnily enough, as much as he got torn to shreds and ripped apart by not only Arsenal fans, but opposition fans in particular, when you look at some of the wingers that have come in since Pepe's come in, Anthony, Sancho, Mudryk, even this season, look at their numbers in comparison to Pepe's numbers in the first couple of years.
Very true.
And, he actually blows them out of the water. But he wasn't good enough. He's not reliable enough for Mikel Arteta. 1 year on his contract now. Get what you can.
Balogun.
Well, I've said sell Eddie, so I'm going to say keep Balogun.
Sure.
I like to go into a season with 3 strikers. I know Trossard is an option up top, so people might say it's Jesus, Trossard and another profile. I'd more say Martinelli, Trossard on the left. I'd say Jesus, Balogun and another profile striker up front. And it's a case of I need Balogun to show me and show us this here. Yes, he's had a great loan spell. He got a new contract just before that. I think he's come up to 2 years left now. It would be a big season for him if he stays, but the rumours are he wants to be guaranteed some football, and I wouldn't guarantee him that.
Fine.
So keep, ideally.
Yeah. Marquinhos.
Again, first season, not seen much of him. When I have seen him, he's been okay. I know he had a debut goal, I think it was.
Yeah.
Tears of joy from him. But I just haven't seen enough. I don't think the Norwich spell has worked out for him
I'm not sure
like we would have hoped. But it's currently the under-20s World Cup at the moment, and he's shining for Brazil. He didn't start in their first game against Italy, comes off the bench at half-time, and in the group stages, a goal and 2 assists. He started the rest of the games. So that's interesting to me, that he's producing somewhat for Brazil under-20s. And similar to Vieira, let's see him for another. Actually, not similar to Vieira because he's a lot younger. I'm willing to give Marquinhos another at least 12, 18 months before I judge him fully, but keep.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, wait. Loan is an option.
Yeah.
Loan.
You loan Marquinhos.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, let us know in the comment section what you do with all these players. Keep, loan, or sell. Hit the like button and catch us on the next video. See you soon.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.